Okay, and we know again, just to recap, we have 32 crates of bananas, Mr. Berkey package, 47 crates of apples, and 26 crates of oranges. So I know also that I need to combine the apples and oranges, and I am going to compare it to the bananas. Okay, so my plan, what is my plan? Well, the first thing I need to do is figure out what. And if you're thinking I need to figure out how many um, apples and oranges are in the crate, then that's what I need to do. I need to first combine my apples and my oranges because I don't know what the total is. And also, I need to, once I figure that out, I need to then compare it to my bananas to figure out the missing part. And I want to make a correction. I am going to make the correction on the slide. But in order for this problem to work out correctly and it represent more bananas being packaged than apples and oranges combined, I have to change my number of bananas. And so this was a typo on Ms. Gla's part, but it's still not going to change the process on how we're going to work it out. So when you see this same problem next week, you will see the corrected number in the slide. And just remember that in order for us to compare the bananas to the apples and oranges, and we're trying to see how many more bananas there are, than apples and oranges combined, the bananas has to be greater than both the apples and oranges. Even if we're combining them together, it still has to be greater than the two in order for us to see in order for us to compare it. So it has to be more. So I'm going to make the correction on the slide, but I just wanted to point that out right now because I know you're probably thinking, well, that's not going to work out. Some of you are who are already thinking ahead, then you're probably like, well, you're not going to have more bananas than apples and oranges combined. So, and this is why, because the number needs to be 82 instead of 32. Now we're going to look at another example of a multi-step problem. And as you can see, again, the problems are becoming a little bit more lengthier in terms of our reading, but that's okay because even though we may have a little bit more reading to do, as long as we're taking our time and reading it carefully, as good detectives would and good mathematicians, we're going to continue to search for those clues that will help us to figure out the best plan for solving our problems. So the problem says that Shayla had 721 red and white beads before she started making spirit bracelets to sell at the school festival. On Monday, she used 146 red beads to make the bracelets. On Tuesday, she used 121 white beads to make the bracelets. How many beads did Shayla have left after making the spirit beads? So, what I want you to do, I want you to read it again to yourself. I want you to think about the important clues that we need to highlight in our problem. Look for those action words that's going to give us those hints on which operation that we need to use to help us plan to solve for our problem. We're going to now highlight the clues, and I hope that you guys are highlighting some of, or you thought, or you're thinking to highlight some of the same information that I am about to highlight now. So I'm hoping that you guys said, yes, we need to highlight. Shayla had 721 red and white beads, and we know that she had this before the festival. And we also know on Monday she used 146 red beads. And on Tuesday she used 121 white beads. Now, I don't think that we mentioned in our previous lessons the word used. And again, if you're reading for understanding, you can pretty much figure out that used is an action word, and it's an action word for subtraction. And if you were thinking subtraction, yes, you're correct. Because if I'm using something and I'm taking it away from the total, then I'm pulling it away from the total. I'm taking it away, then I need to subtract it. I need to take it out the total. Okay. Now, our question is asking how many beads did she have left after making the spirit beads? So we're trying to figure out how many beads did she have left after making the spirit beads. Now, we do see the word left, and there is a clue for subtraction. However, we don't always have to subtract. We don't always, I mean, in this particular problem, subtraction is going to be required. But once we look at this, take a closer look at this problem on Monday, you're going to see that there are actually two ways that you can solve for the answer. And you're going to see that there's a more efficient way that you can solve for it without using a lot of subtraction in this particular problem. So let's put down what we know in our understand. Okay, I'm trying to get my pen out. Here it is. Okay, so I understand that Shayla had 721 beads. I also know that on Monday, and I'm just going to write in for Monday, she used 146 of the beads. And I know on Tuesday, and I'm just going to write the T for Tuesday, she used 121 white beads. And I'm going to write a W for white, R for red. So what should my plan look like? So if for my strip diagram, for my model, I want to know first the number of beads Shayla used. So I know that she used 146 red. I also know that she used 121 white. I don't know how many she used all together. So if you're hearing me saying some vocabulary, ding, 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 all together total, that should already give you some clues on how you can solve this problem on Monday. So you kind of got a head start on your thinking and how you can go about solving the problem. And this is one way. And so once we figure out how many beads she she sold, she used, then we can use that information to find the missing part of how many she have left. How many did she have left out of 721? And so we can find that missing information. So we will model for you on Monday different ways on how you can actually solve this particular multi-step problem. But for right now, we just want to make sure that you understand there that there is more than one operation that is needed to solve it. So what we really want to focus on today is that you're understanding the problem, what it's asking. You're understanding that you have some action words or some vocabulary words in the problem to give you clues on how you're going to solve it, how to plan it, and what operation you would use to solve it using the clues that we have highlighted.